listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I am Roger B., and this is Locked and Loaded on America's Web Radio.
Woo!
Yeah, we're going to talk about some gun stuff today. I got a few things I need to cover that are some things are good, some things are bad. It's hard to tell because, you know, with the Biden administration, they're looking to restrict weapons. The ATF has they've been fueled on with a new vigor as far as passing new restrictions and infringing on our Second Amendment rights. They don't believe in the words "shall not be infringed."
Look, I hate to say it, but the ATF is not your friend. Is not a friend to the Second Amendment.
I don't know if I can say what they are. What the assholes that take firearms?
That take firearms. Yes.
Bureau of assholes.
I get, Roger. I can give you a bit of positive news.
Good. Let's hear it.
Being is that I was in Texas last week.
Oh, all right.
I had a few people coming up and talking to me about the new, the governor passed constitutional carry.
Yeah, I saw that. He signed it last week.
Yeah, so no permit is required, and I overwhelmingly had people that were very excited, very happy, and they were all, this is Texan, this is who we are.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of left-leaning people who actually came up to me and said, well, how can you support that? Because now there are going to be guns everywhere. And I went, okay, let's follow me logically here.
You need a license and a tag to drive a car, and cars are everywhere. Even if you didn't have a license and tag, there'd still be cars everywhere.
Well, there are tons of illegals out there driving that don't have a license.
But they have tags on their cars.
They have tags on their cars. But I asked them to follow this logical line. I asked them to point out one criminal. I did two things. I said, find me one crime in the past 10 years that had been committed by a concealed weapons carry holder permit or by a law-abiding citizen with a gun. And they couldn't.
I don't think there are no NRA member has ever been accused of a mass shooting.
Of a mass shooting, exactly.
Right.
And then I asked them, of all the crimes, and you can look them up, of all the crimes that have been going on in different cities around Texas, find me a criminal who used a gun who obtained it legally.
Yeah, right. Most of them are stolen or brought in from out of state illegally or from out of the country.
And they couldn't do it. So then I brought it back to constitutional carry. So I said, so you're telling me, you're trying to link up that my constitutional right to protect myself is somehow going to put your life in jeopardy. And they looked at me and they kind of cocked their head, and I said, yeah, doesn't make sense, does it? It's quite the opposite. My constitutional right of self-reliance is going to put you in a better place. Because if a criminal shows up, who you going to get behind?
And that's right. You're going to go with the guy who's got the gun, who has some training probably or knows how to use it or is carrying it legally, because those are usually the people who take the responsibility the most serious.
The most serious. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's... So I had a great time in Texas, and it is a constitutional carry state.
It's funny though, because they say, you have to have a permit, you have to do this, you have to get approval. But yet, imagine if they did to voting what they did to guns. Supposedly there's a right to vote. They say, it's everyone's right to vote, which, from what I understand, is not actually in the Constitution.
So there is not. There is not a right to vote. You have a right to not be discriminated against
if there is an election, right?
In your state. Okay. But you do not have a right to vote.
Right. But even if there was a right to vote, which people think there is, there's a right to keep and bear arms, which there is, and it's clearly spelled out. But yet they want to separate those two things and make voting some sort of high and mighty right that anybody should have, regardless of whether they're legal, not legal, which is not even in the Constitution.
Not even in the Constitution.
But the right to keep and bear arms is clearly stated. Yeah. And yet people still want to find restrictions against it. You know what we should talk about real quick?
And it's the Second Amendment, the one that specifically says shall not be infringed by a government douchebag. Okay, maybe I added the douchebag part. But it is one of the, specifically, very clearly says shall not be infringed. But yet, that is the Second Amendment is the one that they infringe on the most.
The most, exactly. Because they feel, I wonder if it's a power trip. Well, I've always heard gun control is not about the guns, it's about the control.
Well, think about it, Roger. If you're a government and you're an elected Democrat today who wants perpetual power, then you don't like people that have self-reliance.
That can defend themselves against a tyrannical government.
And what gives someone self-reliance? Being able to protect themselves at all costs.
Themselves, their property, their family.
And
yes.
that goes for their property. That goes for their family. And then, absolutely.
And especially
Their food,
now,
their water.
especially now with this cry to defund the police everywhere.
We see where that's going.
I mean, crime rates are skyrocketing in big cities all across the country.
Up 200, 300% across New York, California, Atlanta, the city of Atlanta.
I mean, all these places just, I mean, you take away the police, the police, they may not be there to actually defend you, but just being that they're present and they're out and about is a huge deterrent to criminals.
Well, here's the thing. If you let's say you're at home, you're having a great Sunday afternoon or evening, or you're about to go to bed, and some assailants come running up to your house, they're banging on your door, and they want in.
Yep.
Okay. If you have a sound police force, that criminal knows they've got a limited time to spend at that door. They've got to get in, they've got to get what they want, and they got to get out. When you defund the police, they know
their time extends tremendously.
Exactly. They don't have to be in a rush, so they can work on the door. They can work on bounding you. Whereas when there's a police force, they're going to try to get in when you're not there.
Right.
But when there's not a police force, you need to defund the police. They don't care who's
Well, that's the
there.
difference between burglary and robbery. Burglary is when you're not there. Robbery is when you're there.
When you're there, exactly. And now look at robberies going up.
Yeah.
Going up and up and up.
A lot of these are taking place in gun-hostile states.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Look, criminals aren't as stupid as some people would like to make them out to be. They don't want to go where they're going to be challenged.
Right.
So they're going to do activity in states like New York and Chicago and Illinois.
Where they know many less people would have a gun. You don't see that in Atlanta and Texas. And
so you'll see some maybe in the city of Atlanta, but they won't dare come out. You remember the last year, my goodness, in 2017, 18, and 19, and 2020, all we heard in Georgia and some other states were Antifa and BLM. We're leaving the cities. We're coming for the suburbs.
Yeah.
They never did.
Well, they're not
and
stupid.
You know why?
Not as dumb as we think they
didn't
are.
want to get shot by a. But let me tell you something. Now, I've lost quite a few weapons in the lake.
Yeah, oh yeah. Boating accidents are all-time high.
You want to know how fast I could find them if Antifa and BLM wanted to come into the neighborhood? I'll find them real quick.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
I got metal detectors.
Yeah, but they say the lake levels are rising because of the loss of these guns and all these boating accidents.
Oh, I know it's terrible, but luckily I've got some awesome equipment and how to find them.
But apparently, guns are not going to be your biggest thing that you're going to need. Because Joe Biden Wednesday was, attacking the Second Amendment, said it was never designed to give Americans weapons to protect against a tyrannical government.
In his dreams.
I don't know. Where did he get that from? That's exactly why the Second Amendment is there. Precisely why.
I'll tell you where he got it. He got it from all the bozos that are around him that have been indoctrinated at school, and they really haven't learned the history.
Right. They don't know why the Second Amendment's there.
Most college students, I'm afraid, I hate to say it, but if you ask them, have you read the Founding Fathers? Have you read what's behind the Constitution? Have you read what
Federalist Papers?
The Federalist Papers, exactly, would be a great place to start. But Roger, you're 100% correct. The Second Amendment was created for the mere purpose
of defending against a tyrannical government.
Exactly. We would not be at the hands of England again.
Right.
Or any other tyrannical government.
They were under a tyrannical government, England. Yeah. And the one way they were able to get out is they could arm themselves and form an army.
Yeah. Look, we formed an army, we formed a militia. And it was these farmers and accountants and bookkeepers that beat off the most formidable military in the world at that time, which was England and Britain.
The biggest empire at the time, yes.
Yep.
But now, so Biden was saying this in an attack on the Second Amendment was never designed to give Americans weapons to protect against a tyrannical government, which I don't know where he decided he would come up with. And this is the quote that's been floating around for this week, and it's just been it's hilarious. If you think you have the weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. So of course, all the memes going F-15 fighter, 15 million at cheaper than dirt at all these places that sell guns are showing pictures of F-15s.
Buy one, get one.
We're back ordered on nukes, but come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, come back. Supply limited. Act now.
That's right. Our supplies are limited. But it's like, So he's now. Is that a threat though? If he says something like
It's
that,
not the first time that they've made stupid threats like this.
I mean, it sounds to me like he's saying we will use F-15s and nukes
know-
against you if you try and fight a tyrannical government.
this reminds me of something, Roger. You know, in throughout Trump's presidency, Trump would look at our adversaries, and including the peak squeak in North Korea. And when that dude was rebel rousing for the first 5 minutes of Trump's presidency,
Yeah.
Trump looked at him and said, "You know what? My button's bigger than your button, and my button works."
That's right.
But
My
what is-
missiles go where they're supposed to.
Exactly. But what does the Biden administration do? He looks to the American citizen and says, "We got nukes, you don't. We got F-15s, you don't. You paid for the F-15s. You paid for the nukes, you American
That's
citizen."
right. We should be able to have one if we want.
But he's basically saying he's willing to turn that on you. He talks more tougher to the American citizen than he's ever talked to Putin or
tyrannical
North Korea
dictators.
or Iran.
Yeah, and
Pretty
these
sad.
tyrannical dictators are his friends, but American citizens are not.
Are not.
It's just but it
Well,
was,
if you're a non-Biden voter, you're not his friend. He
Yeah.
doesn't look at you. You're not.
and then he
you're not
goes,
a worthy
the
American."
point, it's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapons that can be owned and who could own them.
That's ridiculous. Again, that is gobbledygook coming from an academic who just got out of college.
But now,
Who was not taught the truth.
there's more.
There's more. Act now,
yes.
and you too can receive
Here we go. Sorry. Even the Washington Post, who is strongly for Biden, they have a system of rating things as far as being true or false.
the Pinocchios.
Yes, the Pinocchios. And Washington Post gave Biden 4 Pinocchios over a comment he made about people owning cannons.
Wow.
He goes, "You can't own a cannon." It's like, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
In fact, you don't even need a license to own a
No,
cannon.
you don't. In fact, I've seen some of these cannons.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're awesome.
If you watch, Pawn Stars, a lot of times they're big on buying cannons.
In fact, Pawn Stars bought a cannon or two.
They do that.
And,
They'll take it out. If it shoots, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
So they take it out and they test shoot it all the time. It's funny.
But again, these are the Biden administration, the people around him. Do you think these academics, these elitists would lower themselves to watch a show like
Pawn Stars?
Pawn Stars?
But it's just hilarious because he goes, "You couldn't own," he goes, the Second Amendment limited those who could exercise the right to keep and bear arms and what type of arms were protected. You couldn't own a cannon. And even the Washington Post couldn't support that statement. They had to give him 4 Pinocchios on that one. Like, no, that's not even close to true. You could own a cannon. You can still own a cannon.
You know you're full of bullshit when the Washington Post gives you 4 stars and you're a Democrat.
4 Pinocchios on a
4 Pinocchios.
Democratic president.
Yeah, 4
you know?
Pinocchios.
Oh
Yeah,
my
We have
goodness.
a friend that has been on the show a couple of times.
Does
and
he have
will
a
be
cannon?
on more, and he owns a tank.
Oh, cool.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Man.
I want a tank.
You know,
Someone told me,
I've been tanked many times.
buy a tank. And I go, well, I don't have the money.
I
He
bet
goes,
you have.
He goes, put it on your credit card. I went, but then I won't be able to pay for it. He goes, who cares? You have a tank.
Yeah, who cares? You'll have a tank.
What are they going to do?
You know, some insider information for the listeners out there. You know, we talk about, Roger, all the time about being prepared.
Oh, yeah.
And,
preparation is a big deal.
Yeah, preparation is everything. And,
Okay.
And,
Let's come back and tap
yeah,
on that
let's
as soon as we get back. We're going to take a quick break. I am Roger B. with Victor Armendariz on Locked and Loaded on America's Web Radio.
Hi, this is Rocky Blair, former 4-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Vietnam veteran. As a board member, I'd like to talk to you about Warriors to Citizen, a nonprofit organization that helps American heroes, soldiers, police, fire, EMT, and their families recover from the psychological harm caused by career-induced stress. Over the last 20 years, broken relationships have been a major causal factor for the highest documented divorce rate and resulting suicides in this population. This program, From Warriors to Citizen, is delivered free to families by professionals, all whom served in uniform and understand the needs to be addressed. I ask for your support, so please go to our website, warriorstocitizen.org, and find out how you can help, either by making a donation or sharing this information with an American hero that you may know. And thank you.
Hello, my name is Rick White, and I'm the director of the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. I want to encourage all Georgia veterans to consider being nominated to the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. And if you are a Georgia veteran, then the definition of a Georgia veteran is either you were born in the state of Georgia, or you've lived here 10 years, or you were raised to right hand and joined the military in this state. You are considered a Georgia veteran. For further information, go to www.gmv.org. HOF.org, or you can contact me at 678-427-0915. We'd love to have your nomination for the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
If you live to serve and want to make an even bigger difference, consider joining the U.S. Army. With training in fields like medical care, linguistics, and engineering, an Army career can amplify your efforts with humanitarian opportunities all over the world. Plus, you'll receive competitive pay and incredible benefits, so you'll be taken care of, too. Learn more at GoArmy.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is Locked and Loaded on America's Web Radio. And right before we left for the break, we were talking about being prepared.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Being prepared. And what I was going to point out is because, Roger, we kind of have a good plan in place. I'm not going to tell everybody, but we got a good plan in place.
In case the zombies come.
In case the zombies come. And oddly enough, they look like Democrats. But anyway. Because
they're all staring at the phone, just walking around like in some sort of daze.
In a daze, yes.
If you think zombie apocalypse is not here, go to the mall and watch people walking around and not looking at anything but down at their phone the whole time. You see people sitting at tables in restaurants. Yeah. 4 people sitting on their phone, just not talking to each other.
All 4 of them sitting together, and all of them just face in deep in their phones.
That's a zombie right there.
That's a zombie. Yeah. So for those of you who say zombies aren't real, please.
They're real and they're here.
And they're here. So being prepared. So we've got water, we got food, we got lots of things, and we know where to go in the lake to find our
guns.
Weapons. But one thing we don't have, Roger, is a tank.
A tank.
So,
yes.
David, we're gonna have to talk to you about that.
A tank and maybe a fighter plane.
An
F-15. We need an F-15.
Right, we need an F-15.
He has a tank, an APC, and 3 Jeeps, and he's a doctor.
I like it. See, he's smart.
Yeah, but he's prepared.
He needs to join our group. We need a doctor in the group. We got a few doctors.
A doctor with a tank.
But we need a doctor with a tank. That's what I was going to say. We have a few doctors in the group, but not one with a tank.
That's right.
Not at all.
So
that's funny, though.
Excellent. Oh, yeah.
Because, apparently, we, according to Biden, we need to have F-15s and nuclear weapons.
And nuclear weapons. So, I don't know where I can get
you'd run out.
Well, from the places that everybody's got them on back order right now for the nukes. The F-15s you can get. In fact, you can buy a part of one and finish it yourself at home.
That's true.
There was a guy who showed he had the turret from a tank. And he had it sitting on a truck, and he goes, I just need a lower to finish my tank.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's sort of like a car kit as far as the F-15.
Yeah, it's a kit.
Drop the turn on.
A kit tank, a kit
They're
F-15.
referring to AR-15s because the AR-15 comes with an upper and a lower. And the lower is considered the gun part. So you buy all the parts, and you buy the lower, and you complete your AR-15. So he was saying, I just need a lower to complete my tank.
Man, this is great. This gives a whole new meaning to I need the kit. I need a kit. So I need a tank kit. I want an F-15 kit.
Yes, and the nukes, which are, like I say, they're on back order everywhere I've looked.
Is an F-15 an assault plane?
I don't know. Oh, good point.
Inquiring minds want to know.
More so than
Depends on which end you're looking at.
The business end?
It would be assaulting, yes.
I mean, if an AR-15 is an assault rifle, I guess an F-15 is an assault plane. But Roger, it would be more of an assault than an AR-15.
Yeah, and more than like a 737. I mean,
Yeah. Although that can be an assault plane too.
That's right. We found that out on 9/11.
Yeah,
big commercial airliners can be assault planes.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, so Joe Biden thinks if you're going to take on the government, you need to have nukes and F-15s. So just so you know.
Well.
But you're not allowed to have a cannon.
But you can't have a cannon, apparently.
So I don't know if he thinks you can buy F-15s. Has he seen them for sale on Craigslist or something? I don't know.
If these moronic elected Democrats would put as much attention on protecting and protecting freedom and liberty than they do trying to restrict the American citizen, imagine where we would be.
Well, now, Joe Biden also came out and said he was making a statement on the Second Amendment, said no amendment is absolute. And I'm like, that's kind of the whole idea of having an amendment.
Point.
Oh, my God. And I wonder if people who listen to him know that these are false statements. Do they understand that this is a complete lie and the amendments are supposed to be absolute, defined, clearly defending certain rights?
I'd like to know what academic bozo gave him that line, fed him that line of bullshit.
No amendment is absolute.
The law of this land is laid out in the United States Constitution. Our
Right.
system of justice is predicated on the Constitution. That Constitution is full of amendments. Those amendments
Right.
are absolute unless changed.
Right. Now, the
And-
funny thing is, though, there's states that are just ignoring certain parts of the Constitution,
Oh,
like when it
every
comes to
day.
immigration and drug use and stuff like that. And it's, the law specifically says one of one of the most important things the federal government is to do is defend our borders
Yeah. Well, the
and
number
control
one
immigration.
Yeah, the number one job of the federal government is to protect the citizens of this country, and in turn protect the states. The reason why the states agreed to form the union and to form a federal government was so the federal government could protect all 50 states.
Right.
And
So they could combine efforts. It's just like
yeah,
insurance.
I mean, it's just exactly.
You combine your
it's-
efforts to cover everybody.
And in turn, they agreed to give the federal government the power over immigration.
Right, to defend the borders. And they have, it just depends. I'm sure Biden has pulled back on ICE units all over the place because the Border Patrol is just saying we're getting overrun and we can't do anything about it.
He's reversed everything that Trump did, and you see what the result is.
I saw a story today. This isn't gun related, but apparently they're paying people to go down to the border walls and guard the materials that they're using to construct it with, but not do any construction. So he's paying people to stand there and watch the stuff so nobody steals it, but they're not doing anything to continue the building of the wall.
This gives a whole new meaning to it ain't going to build itself.
I know. You're paying people to sit there and watch it so nobody steals it. You might as well have people build it if you're going to pay them to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nuts.
If you're going to welcome hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of illegals, then let's put them to work. Because every one of them would be happy to pick up they would be happy to close the door behind them. Trust me, I know this.
Come work on the border wall and earn your citizenship.
I tell you, I have
good.
talked to people. I was just 2 weeks ago. I was down at the Mexican-Guatemalan border. I am telling you, these people would be happy to come across the border into the United States, take the hammer and nails and wood, and start building the wall to shut the door behind them. And they do it with a smile on their face.
That's right. And they get to be citizens if they help build the wall. Oh, my gosh. That would be funny.
I think Mr. Abbott's going to take care of that.
Yeah, Mr.
Governor
Abbott
Abbott.
Governor Abbott in Texas is. I'll say this real quick.
No,
I'll get out of here. But speaking of Texas, so I was in Texas last week, and I actually talked to a lady who leans left, was not a Trump supporter.
Leans left.
Yeah, she walks like this. She's, and she was telling me all the horrors of Trump, and I was like, you know what? I don't even want to get into that to you now. But what do you feel about Texas? How do you feel about Texas? And she looked at me. She goes, well, I didn't like Abbott, but I support him now. And I went, oh, really? And I asked her what changed. She goes, well, I have a business. I'm surviving because Abbott opened the state. And then Abbott is making moves to protect the people of Texas. And she could not be for Abbott. So I found that fascinating because she was an absolute Democrat.
I wonder if she would vote for him if he was up for re-election.
So
would she vote again?
So I kind of got to that. and as of right now, she's an Abbott supporter. So this Democrat in Texas is an Abbott supporter. So I found that fascinating.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because she clearly voted for Dementia Joe and Guatemala Harris.
Dementia Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh, yeah. She voted for Dementia Joe and Guatemala Harris, but supports Governor Abbott because of what he's doing on the ground. And that just makes me think of how important local politics.
Maybe people are gaining more common sense. Maybe they're seeing.
Man,
maybe the left
so.
is going so far to the left that they're alienating people who are middle left.
Yeah.
Even people middle left are going, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You, at some point, you would think that most people, rational people, most rational-minded people with half a brain,
would realize what's going on.
Realize and go, okay, wait a minute, now they're going too far.
Yeah.
Now you're going too far. You're calling me a racist now.
Yeah.
And you're calling brown people brown racist if they don't agree with Biden. So, yeah, I'd say it's going too far. I mean, come on. If you're black,
if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black.
You ain't black. Yeah. If you're a black and you somehow don't toe the Biden line, then you're a black racist.
Or you're an Uncle Tom.
Yeah. I get called Uncle Julio. I don't even have an Uncle Julio.
Uncle Julio.
How long did you all practice to get in sync for that?
I don't know.
It just happens.
Sometimes things just line up. The stars are in alignment.
You would think that we've known each other since we were teenagers.
Yeah, you would think. Well,
Actually,
you might be right.
Before I wasn't even a teenager when we met.
Yeah, oh, look at that. See
Yep.
that?
Obviously a bad influence.
A bad influence.
But here, okay, so Biden was talking about
It was Gloria.
no amendment is absolute. He said you can't yell fire in a crowded theater and call it freedom of speech. Well, no, because that's first of all, it's a false statement. You shouldn't be making
Right, you shouldn't be
freedom of
making-
speech should not be false anyway.
And you don't want to incite a riot.
Yeah, that's incitement.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't just say anything. And he's trying to say you can't have any weapon, which the list of restricted weapons is huge already.
Yeah.
You know.
And honestly, even the First Amendment really protects all speech. It's the context. I mean, you can say, boy, it looks like a fire over there or something like that. And you're not.
Yeah, as
but
long as
it's
you don't
the-
yell
it's-
fire and
right, it's the
cause everybody
incitement.
to panic.
Excitement.
Yeah,
You don't want to incite a riot.
right.
That you can be punished.
That's crazy. But yeah, he's trying to compare that to owning weapons. It's like, no, that's not the same thing. Don't be a dummy.
Yeah.
He can't help it though.
You know what? He can't. I don't.
I
think
wonder
he can
whose
help
hand is up his bum and controlling what he's doing.
Well, I'll tell you. For part of the time, it's Jill Biden.
Oh, so Jill's the woman behind the man.
I wonder how much KY jelly stock the Biden family owns.
Oh no.
Yes, I went there.
Yes.
Bad host. Bad host.
Yes. But it's like, I mean, he's trying to compare that to Second Amendment rights. It's like, no. And the fact that he said you can't own a cannon, it's like, even the Washington Post couldn't agree with that.
Couldn't agree. Yeah, and then like I said, Roger, and you said it too.
That's part of prepping.
If it's part of prepping. But if the Washington Post gives a Democrat 4 Pinocchios, then my gosh, it was a whopper.
That was way off the mark.
Yeah.
I mean, I think having a cannon would be a great idea. You don't even have to fire the cannonballs.
No.
Just fire off some powder like at sunrise and again at sunset to let people know what time it is. That'd be awesome.
Maybe we could start a trend. I used to live. This was years ago, but I actually lived in what I call drug alley in the middle of downtown Atlanta.
Oh, I remember down near Piedmont.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I watched drug deals going on. How awesome would it have been if I had a little mini cannon and I could stuff it with sugar? Hey, you want some Coke? And just start blasting these guys and then get off my corner.
Get off my porch.
That would have been awesome. Everybody needs a cannon.
That's what Joe Biden says to you. Just hang the shotgun over the edge of the balcony and fire off a couple rounds.
What happened to that Joe? I want that Joe Biden back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can have a gun. Have a double-barrel shotgun.
Yep. And folks, Roger's 100% right. There was a time and when we come back, we'll tell that story.
Yeah, okay. We'll be right back. I'm Roger Reed. This is Locked and Loaded with my special guest, Victor Armendariz, on America's Web Radio.
Whether cruising the strip in a 57 Chevy or taking the family on a vacation in a 71 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, you need to tune in to Classic Cars with Steve Ronaldo and Jim Weber every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on americaswebradio.com.
Is it one or two?
Let's go with 2.
My name is Kyle Hayes, a motorsports student at Alfred State College. Every year, Alfred State students compete in the Great Race, which is a cross-country time endurance rally for vintage vehicles. As you can imagine, it's pretty costly. I'm asking for your help. Your donation can make it possible for these students to live their passion and promote the vintage automobile industry. Please visit our site at give.alfredstate.edu and search Great Race to learn more and help us reach our goal. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Karuchak. Have you ever wondered what doctors talk about amongst themselves? If you do, join us on the Doctor's Lounge and hear the doctors' conversations amongst themselves. Join me and my co-host, Dr. Hal Schertz, every Thursday morning, 8 to 9 a.m.
So I gave him, let's see, I got the sniper rifle, I got the AR.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Okay, coming back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is Locked and Loaded, and you're listening to America's Web Radio. And right before we left for the break, there was a story that Victor wanted to talk about.
Well, you mentioned Biden, and I said I want the old Biden back. There was a time when Biden somebody was talking about, the gun. Look, folks, the Democrats have been after the Second Amendment since they were Democrats. And
it makes you wonder, what are they going to do after 240-something years that's going to make you want to shoot them?
Exactly. Yeah, it ought to make you wonder. But there was years ago, and I don't remember, but it was Senator Biden at the time, and somebody was talking, they were talking guns, and he actually stood up and he was like, I like guns. Just go out and get yourself a shotgun. Blast a couple of
shotgun,
rounds. And he goes, just go out on your back porch and blast a couple of shots if you hear something.
That'll scare anybody away.
Horrible gun safety.
No kidding.
I mean, a gun enthusiast like myself or a gun enthusiast like Roger would never, ever tell somebody to just go out your back and just go blast off
off the back porch.
Now, I'm all for a warning shot, but you got to have a reason and a target for a warning shot.
That's right. You can't just be blasting rounds off the back porch. Well, Joe does, apparently.
Yeah, apparently Joe Biden used to. My goodness, I hope Dementia Joe doesn't do it now, because who knows what he's shooting at.
Yeah, he won't even pay attention. Yeah, but I remember hearing that. Just get yourself a double-barrel shotgun and fire a couple rounds off the back porch.
Yep.
That's like,
just go off the back porch there and fire off a couple of rounds. That's horrible advice. How many people left it? How many sheep went out in their backyards and started firing their weapons?
Probably none of them, because most of the ones that would believe that don't have any
guns.
weapons.
That's true.
The ones that do have guns go, what a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh.
Like we did. I mean, how on earth could somebody say something
How could someone be in politics and be a senator and say something like that?
And get elected for 50 darn years almost.
I know. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's coming up. What is he, 48 years? 48 and a half years?
48 years or so that this man has been in.
If he stays his full term, he'll be over 50 years in government office.
Look, I got news for you. You know, for 4 years, the media told you and the Democrats said Donald Trump will not finish his term. Let me tell you who's not going to finish their term.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dementia Joe's probably not going to finish his term.
No, in fact, I've heard they're already going to start transitioning in August.
Oh, man.
Start the transition team to move Kamala into office.
I would believe it, because Kamala can't win on her own. So
no.
Guatemala Harris.
She was polling at 2% when she was running as a presidential candidate.
And that was before the first primary. She didn't even make it to the first primary.
Right. She couldn't even get on the ballot, I don't think.
She didn't even make it. So I think you're right, Roger. I believe that they're going to try and somehow ascend her to the presidency so that she can be the incumbent in 2024, because she's not going to win. She won't win the primary in 2024.
No, there's too many other people who would actually be out there and probably
absolutely and
split the votes all over the place.
And let me tell you something, Democrats.
I wonder if Bernie would run again. He's always entertaining to watch.
Man, it depends if he needs another house.
Yeah,
he only runs to get paid off.
Yeah, because he does well.
Isn't he going to be 110 by the next election?
Something like that, yeah. 110, 111, whatever it takes.
Oh, Bernie. You got to vote for me.
Of course, there's all the pictures of Bernie.
Everybody needs health care.
Everybody's sitting there watching Bernie sit there with his mittens on.
Oh, that was a great meme. I had one of those that put him behind a drum set, and it was hilarious. Just hilarious.
I want to see Bernie sitting next to an F-15.
Oh, yeah, we need to see that.
Or some nuclear weapons.
Or some nuclear weapons.
Oh, if you're going to take on the government, you'll need one of these babies.
You need to make a meme with him and his mittens and handcuffs, him cuffed to a nuclear suitcase.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why he doesn't. He does really well in all the primaries, but yet he never seems to win.
Until he stops. Because he gets to the point, they pay him off, and then he goes.
Because they know they're never going to let him run.
Yeah, well, they don't want him winning either, but come on, he doesn't want to win. He wants the money. He is look, socialism is for the people, not for the socialists, and he is the epitome of a socialist because he's very wealthy, and he intends to stay very wealthy.
Right, and that's the way he's going to do that is keep running for office.
Keep running for office. The man's never held a job. He can't go work anyway.
I know. A government job doesn't count. What is it? It's like a kid tells his dad. He goes, you know what, Dad? I think I'm going into organized crime. And the dad goes, private sector or government? Because, the government these days, oh, my God, with the things they get away with. Oh, my gosh, it's crazy. I love the way they tell you don't need a gun. While they stand there, surrounded by guys with guns.
Security, guns.
Find this picture. It was hilarious.
I've said that plenty of times. If a politician, Democrat or Republican, but most of them are Democrats, tell you that you don't need a gun for protection, then tell them you first. Tell them to get rid of their security detail.
Just think about this. You got guys like Bill Gates going, money doesn't matter. That's just something rich people say. Money doesn't matter. And then really, really attractive people say, looks don't matter. Mm-hmm. It's like, because you're already good looking. And then the government goes, you don't need a gun to defend yourself while surrounded by guns.
Yep.
It's funny how people will take that twist on things and just tell you, the rich guy says, money doesn't matter. It's like, because you already have it.
You already have it.
That's right.
Money isn't everything when you have it.
Yeah. Oh, money doesn't buy happiness. That's just something poor people say.
And I'm gonna date you for your inside. That's something ugly people say.
Yep. I care about what's inside. Yeah, that's something what people say. Actually, it's and no, we're not saying to judge anybody, but you don't need any guns. That's something guys with guns say.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
Or guys who have guys with guns defending them. Oh, you don't need guns. Yeah. Oh, but you already have guns. Well, that's different. I'm important.
Yeah, I'm important. I'm the important socialist. I get all the money and the guns.
That's right. Well, the golden rule. Those who have the guns and make the rules. Mm-hmm. And apparently, if you don't have an F-15 or nukes, you're not making any rules.
You're not making any rules. Hey, that's part of being prepared, like we talked about, Roger. Those who are prepared will keep their water and their food rations. Those who are not prepared will lose their water.
If you have all that stuff and you don't have a gun to defend it, you're going to be going thirsty.
Let me put it this way. If something does happen and we're martial law, we're out there having to fend for ourselves, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Roger and I will not go thirsty, and we're not going to go hungry.
That's right. There'll be a way to stop that from happening.
Yes, there will.
Someone goes, "Oh, you're a prepper, so you collect water and food and stuff and guns." Oh, you don't need guns if you have water and food. I go, well, what's going to keep somebody from taking your food and water when they don't have any?
Yep.
A gun.
A gun. Yep.
It's very simple.
Absolutely. Well, look at, I love movies. And if you haven't seen Zombieland or Zombieland 2.
I've seen both, yes. Both very good movies.
Everyone should go watch them. But look in Zombieland 2, when they got to Utopia, they told them, turn in your guns. What a mistake that was.
Yeah, I know. It's like ridiculous. Yeah, we'll take care of things.
Yeah, we'll take it. With what?
Every good dictator tells you to turn your guns in. Chairman Mao, Hitler, Mussolini.
Yeah.
All the communists. Stalin. They all said, "Oh, we'll turn in your guns. We'll take care of you."
Yeah, we'll take care of you. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Like in Germany, when they took the guns away and all these people were being loaded onto boxcars. How did that happen?
Yeah.
People are asking today, how did they let that happen? I go, you're seeing it happen right now.
Absolutely, right in front of your face. Yep.
It's happening now. The government's going off the wall crazy sometimes. Mm-hmm. Now, it looks like the states are starting to take things and turn it around, though. I'm seeing a lot of states going, you know what? We don't agree with this. We're going to run our own things our own way.
Oh, you're seeing it in Texas and Florida and Tennessee and Alabama,
Missouri,
South Dakota,
Missouri has one of the best. They have one of the laws that says not only will they not comply, their law officers will not comply with enforcing gun laws they feel are unconstitutional, but if a federal officer comes in and tries to enforce a gun law they don't believe is constitutional, he is subject to being arrested.
Oh, man, there you go. Every state should follow that.
That sanctuary state has teeth. Because the rest of them will say, we won't cooperate, but they'll let the federal government operate and do whatever they want to do. But Missouri says, you try and do this in our state? No, we're going to arrest you.
We'll arrest you. That's what states need to emulate.
Right. That's a sanctuary state. That's a sanctuary law that has teeth. That can actually... Now, I would love to see that come to a head and see that go to court.
Oh, yeah.
That would be tremendous. Where do states' rights end and where do federal law take over?
Well, we've got some good constitutional judges now, so that would be neat to see.
Well, they're challenging the New York carry laws now.
Yeah.
And in California, they're challenging the magazine bans. The assault, the definition of assault rifle is basically under scrutiny right now. Mm-hmm. They could pull that law could be struck down.
Well, the problem with what they're trying to do by banning assault weapons,
quote unquote, yes, you have to quote that.
Let's educate some people real quick, Roger. If you allow the government to ban so-called assault weapons, I got news for you. The action on the assault weapon is the same action on a pistol. If you think
on a .22 semi-automatic, same thing.
If you think that they're going to ban ARs and not come after the pistol, because once you allow them to ban the AR, which has the same action as a pistol, as a .22 semi-automatic, they're coming after them because you're going to give them the law to do it.
They're boiling the frog.
There you go.
Little at a time, you won't notice if they just take a little bit here and a little bit there. Before you know it, the frog's dead.
Exactly.
But if they try and do it all at once, everyone's going to go, whoa, they can't do that. That's too extreme.
Yep.
So they're going to do it an inch at a time. They're going to get in there and start taking a little bit more each way, like California with their whole roster thing.
Yep.
They designed this crazy roster that says the pistol must imprint a special code on 2 separate areas of a shell casing. Now, the technology is really not there to do that. It could be done in an experimental form, perhaps, but it would be thousands and thousands of dollars to build the weapon that could do that. And now they're saying, if it can't do that, then it's not going to be legal in California. So they found, and that's just crazy that they can limit it like that. That's like saying if it's not a ray gun or a phaser gun, you're not allowed to have it.
You're not allowed to have it. It's the same thing that they want to do with biometrics. They want to.
With the safe guns.
With safe guns. So I got a question on safe guns.
Okay.
What if it's coded to me as a male, but then I decide to identify as a female?
And you're transgender.
And I'm transgender.
Do you have to transgender the gun somehow?
This is going to interfere with my rights as an LGBTQRSTRYZX whatever.
Whatever, all the letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Man, all of them.
Yes, right.
I mean, how is biometrics going to understand that there's more than 2 genders?
I saw a picture. It was a meme. It was funny. It goes, somebody was shopping on Amazon and they had a shirt. It said, there are more than 2 genders. And then you scroll down a little bit, it says, sizes, men's, women's. I'm going, wait a minute. So they sell the shirt in men's and women's sizes, but the shirt says there are more than 2 genders.
That's great.
I love when things like that come back. It's like, oh my God, who?
That's like that company that makes a whole lot of outdoor equipment. I don't remember this.
The oil company was wanting to use their stuff to give away a jacket or something?
Yep. So they said, no, we're not going to give it to you. But yet we're going to take your oil to make our products.
Yeah, 60% of our products are made with oil. Well, we don't want to sponsor an oil company.
We're not going to sponsor it's the stupidity that is running rampant. And this is why I say that we're not protected from stupidity in this country. We're being led by a lot of them, and this country can fall.
Oh, yeah.
It can fall.
When the celebrities and the sports figures and politicians become more important than common sense, we're well on our way. The well is open and we just fell in and we're just waiting to hit the bottom.
Yeah, we're just sitting at the bottom.
We're waiting. The bottom's coming fast. Oh my gosh, it's nuts. And that was just hilarious though. There's more than 2 genders, but yet it's only sold in women's and men's sizes.
You only have men's sizes and women's sizes. Oh man.
And now with the Olympics coming up, they're having all these discussions about was it transgendered or trans female, male? I don't know what you call them. Now is a transgender someone who's actually just thinking they're a girl
or actually
or a boy,
so
and they're not
question.
The other one? I mean, I'm confused in trying to decide.
Oh, I'm totally confused too. There's so many letters now, and then they're running out of letters, so they just end all the letters with plus.
Right.
So
I know lesbian. I know bisexual.
But now I think you can be trans without transitioning. Maybe, or
so that means you're still one sex or the other, but you just want to be called the other one.
You want to be called the other. Well, you want admittance to the women's bathroom. So the game admittance to the women's bathroom, you have to identify
as a female.
Identifying doesn't mean you transitioned.
You just want to be called.
You just want to be called
a woman that day.
So you can go into the women's bathroom.
If you're having a bad hair day, you can be called a woman.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back right after this. You're listening to Locked and Loaded on America's Web Radio.
If you live to serve and want to make an even bigger difference, consider joining the U.S. Army. With training in fields like medical care, linguistics, and engineering, an Army career can amplify your efforts with humanitarian opportunities all over the world. Plus, you'll receive competitive pay and incredible benefits, so you'll be taken care of, too. Learn more at GoArmy.com.
Hi, this is Rocky Blair, former 4-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Vietnam veteran. As a board member, I'd like to talk to you about Warriors to Citizen, a nonprofit organization that helps American heroes, soldiers, police, fire, EMT, and their families recover from the psychological harm caused by career-induced stress. Over the last 20 years, broken...
Trying to mess with stuff. All right. And we're back. I am Roger B. Oh, we're not back.
Talking to Mark.
Oh, we're talking to Mark. Is he there?
No, he's talking.
I'm here.
Oh, here he is.
Hey, Mark from New York. What
are you guys doing?
You
know, I heard you talking about the ultimate weapon. You want the ultimate weapon? I got it for you.
What would that be?
You're in New
A
York. Is it
Democratic
spitball?
mayor for New York City destroys everything.
Yo, there you go.
I thought you were going to say the automatic spitball straw.
No, I'm telling you, send de Blasio anywhere, he'll put it down in 5 minutes. He'll put down any riots, anything, because there'll be nothing left but a skeleton of a city.
Yeah, I hear that the New York crime stats are just going nuts right now.
Mark, what's it up to now? 300% up or something like that?
Oh, my God. The crime rate's out of control. Let's see. Total crime, national average, up 276. Violent crime, up 268%. Property crimes, up 278%. Keep going, Democrats. Way to go.
Mark, I didn't...
Okay, we're
Oh, we're coming back.
Oh, we weren't even on the air yet.
Mark.
Hold on. Stand by. I thought we were live. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Roger B. with Victor Armendariz on Locked and Loaded. And we have a special guest.
Yeah, we've got a caller from New York.
New York.
Mark
the Shark.
I
Hey,
couldn't
Mark.
help hearing over the waves.
So, Mark, you heard what we've been talking about. So tell me, in New York right now, how's the crime going?
Yeah.
Crime is just beautiful.
You were talking
I'm
about some
telling you.
stats. Let's run those by one more
you
time.
know, you guys were earlier talking about the ultimate weapon. I got it for you.
F-15?
You want to destroy anything? Takes out entire cities. It's called Democratic Mayor.
Backed up by a Democrat governor.
I'm telling you. You want to destroy the entire place where you live in? Get a Democrat.
Oh.
You know, just go for it.
A Democrat's the
Be
ultimate
real.
city destroyer.
This ultimate city destroyer.
You know, it's amazing. It's kind of like, you know, hiring a Democrat to run a city is kind of like saying that red, white, and blue represents freedom until it pulls up behind you.
They say that the United States, freedom and liberty shall never fall. But I got news for you.
They're getting stomped on pretty hard, though.
The kryptonite, you know, liberty and freedom has kryptonite, and it's in the form of a Democrat politician. I mean,
it just, what baffles me is that people repeatedly vote for the sales pitch.
It's funny because they'll vote Republican for a while. Things will get really good. The economy picks up. Everything's good. And then they think they're just going to go back to Democrats and everything will stay good again.
Here, let me just give you a few statistics. And I've been
let's get
checking
'em.
out Georgia's statistics. Are not that good either.
No, they're not.
New York City, Midtown South, from 20 to 21. You ready for this? 173% robberies up. Felony assaults, 201%. Hate crimes, wait for it, 800%.
Wow.
So, how's that bringing together the people thing going with Biden, huh?
And I'll bet you, Mark, that they don't report the details on these what they call hate crimes.
You know,
because
what was very interesting is I was looking up the GBI statistics, and I was looking. They kind of stopped reporting in 2017 for some reason.
Oh yeah, the current statistics are hard to find.
Well, they don't want to report how do I put this, Mark? They don't want to report the skin color that's attacking the other skin color because it doesn't fit the narrative of today's Democrat
I was
Party.
wondering how your new governor, Stacey Abrams, is doing.
Yeah.
Well, she still thinks she's governor. That's number one. Number two.
Win or lose, she doesn't care. She thinks she's entitled.
You know, the difference between her and Trump is Trump actually had evidence, but no one wanted to listen. She didn't have any evidence, and everyone listened.
And everyone listened to her, yeah.
Because all women are... Me too.
Oh,
me too.
Right, me too. Me too.
Well, that went out the window with that Me Too movement, huh?
Stacey Abrams drives around with a podium in her trunk. I mean,
she stump speeches all over the place.
Wherever she is.
Oh, it's an inflatable podium, just boop, anywhere.
Oh, man, I tell you.
I got to tell you. So, did you guys discuss the Olympics yet?
A little bit.
Well,
but
maybe
yeah,
a little
that's
bit,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
it's always good to hire your athletes who hate you.
Yeah, how's that gonna
there's
work?
some lady with blue lipstick who wouldn't. She was not bowing or not saluting the flag.
She wouldn't face the flag. She turned her back on the flag and on the.
Yeah, I think she was. I think she identifies as Gwen Berry. I don't know what she is today, but at that point she identified as Gwen Berry.
You know, I really don't care what she thinks she is. I would just like for her to identify as an American citizen, since she's supposed to be
representing the U.S. in the Olympics. That's what the Olympics is all about, representing your country.
I have no problem. You want to protest? Be my guest. You know what? I want to protest. I can't protest at my job because you know what? I'll be fired.
You get fired.
That's right. Oh, my God.
But what I find miraculous is that the White House backed her.
And you know what, Mark? Yes, they did. And I hate to tell you this, dude, but you probably have the biggest target on your back because you're a white Jew.
Yeah, I'm really looking out for me, huh?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how you do it up there, Mark. When are we going to get you to move down south?
I'm telling you, I'm waiting to see which crime rate kills first. Between Georgia and New York, I'm thinking maybe Alaska.
Well,
yeah,
Mark,
well, it's a little cold, but we can work that out.
I've been talking to Roger about it might be time for us to get some land in Tennessee.
Or Texas.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. It's the wheels are falling off in both places.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I wonder if it really is. I mean, have you seen this thing now? All these signs are popping up everywhere saying Trump won.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I'll tell you, listen, if we all got together and pooled our funds, we could probably live in the state of Buckhead.
It's true. For you listeners out there, Buckhead is a city very close to Atlanta that is now going to secede from Atlanta.
Oh, they are?
Well, there's a petition. They're making movement. They're already trying to get it on the ballot for Buckhead to
be their own city.
Yeah.
Well, that's happening a lot in Georgia, though. A lot of these places are becoming their own cities.
Yep.
Yeah, listen, Long Island, New York, was trying to do that years ago.
Oh, become their own city, their own
state? We're sending
state?
billions of dollars to the state, and they're sending us back a mere pittance.
Yeah, you're right. You do not.
That happens in a lot of places.
You do not get dollar for dollar. If you put $1 in, you're not getting $1 return.
Be lucky if you get a dime back.
Exactly.
No, that's called democratic math.
Yeah.
It goes along with critical race theory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was going on.
If you send me $10 and you ask for the $10 back, I'll give you back 2 cents.
That was going on here in Georgia, too. There's a county where the north half of the county is very rich, very wealthy, very established. The bottom half of the county is the middle of downtown Atlanta. They were not foreclosing on houses in downtown Atlanta, but in the north part, in a second, if you missed a payment, they were foreclosing on your house. Yeah. But they're letting people in the bottom half of the county keep their houses regardless because they were poor.
And then they're trying to take that bottom half people and move them up to that north neighborhood in the house you once owned. No, I mean, but that's not far from the truth. But we'll get into that later. But
it's
right.
just, I just fear that this country has gone the complete wrong direction. And if Columbus was correct and the planet is flat, then we're about to fall off.
Can we start with California?
Yeah, well, it's already gone. So now I understand not only are they out of water, but now they're baking high heat.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And I got news for you. Those windmills aren't going to spin fast enough.
Well, try that hydroelectric power without any water. That works well, too.
Yeah. His windmill's
maybe you can hook up your windmill to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how do you have hydroelectric power with no water? Yeah,
but you know what? Keep letting in everybody. Let's not even go to the border because Kamala Harris didn't, so why should we?
Yeah, why should we?
I thought she went to on the border.
Yes.
That's like me saying I went to California by stepping into Rhode Island.
You know those commercials that I'm not a doctor, but I've stayed at a Holiday Inn. Well, a lot of Kamala Harris, she may be VP, and she may not have been to the border, but she's had lunch on
the border, the restaurant. That's what I think she confused the two.
That was probably, and what the funniest thing was is that the media didn't say a word about it. They're like, "Hey, she's at the border."
Yeah, on the border. The rest, she was ordering queso.
Yeah, she ordered some cheese dip.
There's a place called Rio Grande you might want to visit.
Yeah, she'll never go there.
Mark. I hear their tacos are really good.
Oh, David.
I'm telling you, I listen. They don't need to open the border. It's already open.
Who would teach Kamala how to walk on water?
Listen, she speaks fluent Democrat. It's okay.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? Oh, my gosh.
You don't need the facts. You don't need evidence. You just need something to go with.
Wouldn't you hate to be the one that had to teach her how to wade?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, I'm trying to figure out.
Get ready for the emails.
And I'm going to take some heat for this.
Go ahead.
Why is the pantsuit very popular in the Kamala Harris hotel room?
Well, because she's following the Hillary Clinton pantsuit.
It's just I just think that what is she identifying as?
An idiot? Well,
she's doing a real good job if that's it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, she's trying to take some of the spotlight away from AOC because she's already burnt.
Yeah. AOC, oh my God.
Somebody said something, and I was going to remember it, and because of my age and problems, about AOC, what it really stands for, something like absolutely crazy or something like that.
It's occasional cortex is what we
Occasional
call it.
cortex.
Is
But
one
no,
of them.
this was
I don't remember.
something
There's
else.
so
that I
many
heard.
things.
Yeah, there are so many.
You know, what does that go? Once upon a time, I was sweet and innocent, and then stuff happened.
Yeah.
Stuff happened.
We'll have to think of that, David.
Some people did some stuff.
And some people did some stuff. Don't worry, David. We all have Biden moments every now and then and forget things.
You know, it's one thing to have bipolar, but tripolar is a little outrageous.
Yeah, you get excited when a girl says, "Oh, by the way, I'm bi," and you're like, "Oh yeah, really?" She goes, "Bipolar."
There's always that unknown factor.
Yeah.
What I find, it's completely baffling to me, and I shouldn't be surprised though, because I know who the media is controlled by. But now they're invading the prosecutor's office, and that is a dangerous problem.
Oh yeah, because they're making the laws. They're selectively prosecuting only certain cases they want to.
But here's the interesting fact. You know, they once said that they would take over this country without firing a shot.
Yeah,
They're doing it.
They're doing it, absolutely. And
they have
they've been
infiltrated the infrastructure of our government.
Yeah. Look at what...
And that's the definition of infrastructure, by the way.
Look at what that... oh, my gosh. What's that?
Well, there's a movie. There's a movie called Idiocracy.
Oh, yeah?
It was supposed to be just for entertainment, but the Democrats are using it as an instructional manual.
Well, I got to tell you, the Republicans better get their butts out of their... their heads out of their butts, I should say.
Your ass is not a hat.
Yes, it is not a hat. Please
Use your head for more than a hat stand.
Yes.
Oh, if they could get together and figure out the same day and agree on the same day, they might be able to move forward.
Yeah, something.
But I got to tell you, we the people, and maybe the critical race theory people have to understand words in English, is we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, it doesn't say we the people are the best perfect union.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point, Mark. And that's what I've tried to tell people. The Constitution
They
is great.
understood, the founders of this country understood that they were not perfect.
Absolutely.
But they were striving
that
for
we would
better.
always, and they created a document that opened the door to fix issues like the United States have been doing throughout the years.
Give it the flexibility that no other documents for guidance of government have ever had before.
And the great
and
thing
more
about
importantly, they knew that central government doesn't
work. Yep. That's the
creates
great thing about the Constitution. It gives the ability to make changes, but it does not give the ability for the government to take sole control.
No, and
this is great.
What they have read the
doing it
Dictator's
anyway.
Handbook well. They really have. They have controlled the media. They then took over the subservient government. They embedded their people in the government quietly. Mm-hmm. Then they started raising up in the ranks. Then what they did is they sold the media because they own the media, and now the media is lapdogging. And whatever line comes out of the White House, they're okay with it. It's okay.
Mark, did I not hear you right or something? But the first thing they did was take over the universities.
Yeah,
the school system.
They indoctrinated, not educated.
Yep, and they're doing it every day.
Now here's something I'm going to just spit out there. When the man who bears the title president says you don't need a gun because he can nuke you, that's when you need to buy another gun.
You need to buy 2 more guns and the F-15.
Well, it's kind of saying like you don't need a fire extinguisher because you have the fire department. Good luck with that idea.
Or you have insurance.
And you don't need a gun because the police are only minutes away.
Yeah.
When
All
seconds count.
We've got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark, for coming on. Thanks, Victor,
Wrap
for
it up,
staying.
guys. It's been a pleasure. Everybody had a fantastic
Good to hear from you,
week.
Mark.
This is Locked and Loaded.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.